So welcome, Dave. And as way of introduction, do you want to kind of set the scene a bit about you, who you were, and when you kind of started working together, how things were going for you? Where were you at with that?
Yeah, I started working with you a little while back now. Sort of finished doing some other business-related courses, sort of working on, marketing and sales management and planning. I was sort of working a family business with my father and brother, and sort of been doing some training of some description for the last 4 or 5 years. And I think during the last 18 months working on sales and marketing, there was things that were working really well and really getting the business off to, in the right direction. And there were other things that weren't working. And I think I realized a lot of that was around leadership and the way I was sort of leading the team for, some good, some bad, some just not knowing the right way to do it. So I realized the thing that was stopping me progressing the sales and marketing was me. So that was when I started having a look around at what my options were for, working on, well, I called it leadership, but it made me feel a bit better, but it was more about working on myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's made the bigger difference in how I ended up with you.
Yeah. And I like the way you kind of like explain it, because it's right. It's like, how do you say it? I mean, I call it working on yourself, and I work with people both personally and professionally. And at the end of the day, there's one common factor in marketing, in your business, in how you're showing up at home and with your kids and everything. And it, like you said it perfectly, it's you. Like it's the only thing that we do absolutely control in this kind of crazy world. And it's like, to me, it's just like ridiculous we don't actually invest in the one common thing that kind of, is the thread that goes through everything. So yeah, it is about leadership. I think it's about personal and professional leadership, and it's actually
100%.
taking up that role. So and so coming into the program and now where you're kind of at, what have you felt have been some of the changes that have occurred? What, the benefits or the changes, the good, the bad, the ugly, that have occurred over this, last few months?
Yeah, look, there's been a lot of changes, personally and professionally. Made changes in the business. People, I didn't think would step up have stepped up and taken on new leadership roles in the business. And, a lot of that's because of the trust and faith I've given them, and, the time I've given them to, discuss things and be vulnerable, and, be vulnerable in myself and allow other people to be vulnerable. And also, a lot happier too, feeling a lot more relaxed. I sort of, we did some of the testing and, reporting at the start where you give yourself a score in a lot of areas in your life. And, I'm not saying I was depressed or in a bad place. I thought I was pretty happy and working on all the right things and whatever. But, I've gone from, a score of 60 to a score of 90 when I sort of score how I feel like I'm doing in life and professionally. Yeah. So there was plenty of low-hanging fruit there that was just sort of being avoided.
Yeah. And what do you, like going from, a level of 60% to 90% kind of happiness and effective in life, that's a big jump. Like, and you said it's low-hanging fruit, what were some of the things that made that difference? Was it really complicated, or was it simple? Was it things that you actually knew? Was it motivation? What was it?
Well, it seems silly, but I think probably one of the biggest steps was getting it down on paper. And yeah. I mean, you're not always a paper person, but for me, it's looking at it on paper and looking at it and going, gee, these things where I've scored myself down, you sort of gave me permission, like, you got a lot going on in your life. The fact that you haven't seen some of your friends for a while, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
So as soon as I sort of looked at some of the things I was down on myself that were in the back of my head, I'm not being a good friend, or I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
It sort of took that weight off my shoulders, and I went, okay. Then I enjoyed more of what I was doing with my family and with work, because that was the important things at the time. And I had a new house, and then I enjoyed them more, which improved those areas. And then sort of everything got better, took a bit of stress off everything.
Yeah. I love it when that happens. It's like the upward cycle rather than the downward cycle that tends to happen. So And in the program, there's a number of things that we do. Obviously, it is coaching, but it's also advising and it is training. We've got the resource center with all the trainings. We've got the group sessions, and then we have the one-on-ones as well. Like, what was your thoughts coming into the program with those different things that you could use? What was your thoughts at the beginning, and how have you found them going through the program?
Yeah, look, there's lots of different elements in the program where, I liked having the idea of structured learning, tools, tactics, that suits me. And, some of them I've got a lot out of, some of them are very, very simple and obvious, but, obvious isn't always obvious, and obvious isn't always practiced.
Yeah.
I think you're saying about that. But, the tools and tactics in the resource center, and being able to go, Robert, I've got this problem, and you go, watch this video, have a look at that training, and you can go straight to it on the spot. You don't have to wait for it to come up in the, the weekly training sessions.
Yeah.
Or no question, you can go there and do it. You can watch it again and refresh it, which is really good. But yeah, I mean, the week, the Monday, Wednesday sessions where we can, log in and ask any questions we want and listen to other people ask their questions, invaluable too. Because it's not just, I've got a problem. You don't always know you have the problem, but when 3 other people in that group session start saying, you know what, just feel like I've got so much to do at the moment. And you're like, yeah, mate, me too. There's just
it feels like bad saying it. It's just like, yeah, come to a session. Don't feel like you've got a problem and then leave knowing that you've got several, but that's generally what happens, isn't it? It's just like, oh my God, that really is affecting me as well. And I think it's just because we're living our lives trying to do the best the whole time. We don't actually just stop and freeze and go, how actually am I doing? So that's one value with that group, is actually just helping realize what's your blind spot, what's kind of things that are unconscious to you that actually are kind of impacting you, and having that diversity. So that's a really kind of key thing. And within the group, are there other things that you get out of those group sessions?
Yeah, look, not that I don't think I'm a cold person or I lack empathy, but maybe a smidge. But it's good to be in the group and hear other people's opinions, and how they're being affected by different things going on in the world, whether it's COVID, busy at work, what's doing this to them, or how they're treating their staff. There's high level executives in there to business owners, to employees and government workers. It's good to hear that, and then it's also good to do the practicing, where you do a bit of training and then you go into your little breakout room with 1 or 2 other people and you talk about it, or you sort of practice on each other.
Yeah.
I think really valuable, when you're putting it into practice, that's when you're really learning.
Yeah, and I love there's so many moments that I've loved in it where, for instance, you've got your particular kind of strengths and you struggle with a particular kind of personality, but that other personality is in the group. So the other person is going, yeah, I find you difficult. Great, let's put you together then. So you can actually break down those barriers and actually practice things and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's one other person in the group in particular who I feel like is exactly like me. So it's I think I know who you know who I mean. So it's always funny to hear that person comment and talk about things, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I sound like. And it's sort of, you can, relate to the people that are like you and different from you, and sort of see what they're working on and what's worked for them as well.
Yeah. And having a range of different ages as well. How we've got people from early 60s to down to early 30s. How have you found that diversity in the group?
Look, to me, it's just representative of the workforce. It's the people I work with. It's the people you interact with in life, whether it's your parents, your employees, your other managers and senior staff. It's good for me. It's a good bit of variety too. People at different stages in their career. As a business owner and manager, for me, I've got to relate to all those people. So it's good to get their perceptions on different things, and I tell them how I might be reacting to a situation, and they can let me know how they would take that advice. So yeah, it's good, really good.
And if someone's kind of out there thinking about getting support, and they're feeling, because a lot of people I find like just want the one-on-one, they feel like, you know, they just need that one-on-one and maybe not the group stuff. And we do the one-on-ones as well, but if someone's there thinking that they want to get support, either one-on-one or group or whatever, you got any kind of advice for them at all in that consideration, or any resistance that you had going into it that maybe shouldn't have been there, for instance?
Oh, look, the resistance that I had, and I would expect everyone to have, is, I came, under the banner of I'm just here to work on leadership, and that was because I wouldn't want to admit to myself or out loud that, maybe there's some personal things I need to work on, which is my personal leadership and empathy and some of these other things. So you might not want to get into that group and say it out loud, and it might feel like you're in a group counselling session.
Yeah.
That might sound like you've got a problem, and you might have to admit you got a problem, but it's not like that at all. It's a group of professional people that are all, leaders in their what they do. And everyone's on the same page and very very welcoming. I don't know anyone that's come into the group and not fit straight in, no matter how different they are.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Dave, for taking some time out to catch up. And everyone listening to this, if you do need any support or anything, feel free to kind of reach out. Always happy to have a chat, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye now.
Thank you.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Feel free to share with friends, and check out what's up next for more videos from my channel.